Hello fellas, today I'll be reviewing the SH Figurarts San Diego Comic-Con 2018 Green Ranger. This is definitely a sought after piece, especially by a lot of Power Ranger collectors, including myself. And this really wasn't pretty easy to get. If you were at Comic-Con 2018, you do know that the Tamashii Nations booth was just, so difficult to get into. I barely made it in. It was pure luck. The gods, the Power Ranger gods, clearly gave me a sign, gave me a gift that day. And I'll say this in every other video, I do need to make a video of what happened at Tamashii Nations just because it was funny. But anywho, today we're going to take a look at this guy. Isn't he so pretty? But before we take a look at him, let us go ahead and take a look at the packaging here, which is fairly nice. I do like the image of the Green Ranger from the TV show. Nice 25th anniversary logo at the top there. And of course, it is the event exclusive. You know, if you are curious of the art, and you can see the figure in there. There's the side, another image of the Green Ranger, 25th anniversary. What I find interesting is the art here is actually of different Rangers from different shows. That's kind of cool. This is Green Ranger right here. There's the bottom, and the back, which, you know, pretty much shows everything. There it is. Yeah. Alright, yeah, it's tough to operate the camera with these gloves, but there's the box, and here is the Green Ranger, who is looking pretty awesome if I do say so myself. I'm going to go ahead and bring this turntable in so we can go ahead and just get a more solid look at him, or a 360 view, if you will. And let's start that. So he is actually alongside the Red Ranger from Comic-Con, my very first SH Figurarts Power Ranger. And I've always been interested in these. I've seen them at conventions, I've seen them at Frankensons, I saw them at WonderCon, you know, from different vendors and booths, but I never pulled the trigger on them, and I thought this year was a pretty good opportunity to do that, considering I do have the money, and it's an exclusive, so, and I'm already at that booth, I might as well pick him up, try him out, see if I like him, and I absolutely love him. He is so cool. So, now that you got a 360 view on him, let us go ahead and check out his accessories. So I'm going to go ahead and move the camera up a tad bit closer and remove his weapon here. Let's put him aside. Hopefully we'll get a pretty good view on this. So this has some really nice paint for such a small, tiny accessory. It is really impressive. I do like the green paint just below the silver blade here. That is nice. Do like those gold bits. It's a nice glossy black for the handle running to the top. And of course, you know, trying to get a better view on it, because this is an important piece for the Green Ranger, so we gotta get it in the video. I like the gold tip here. It's definitely nice looking. And it fits well in his hand, as shown before. I do have the gripping hand here for his, you know, his weapon, and it just, you know, slides in nicely, and you can put it to his head so he can do his flute action. So that's cool. And he comes with some other hands for the actual flute action, which I'll show here in a minute. But yeah, that's his main accessory. And of course, you can place it in his holster just down here, which I do not believe is removable. I don't know why you'd want to remove it, but I tried anyway, and I couldn't. And, you know, this slides in nicely. So, yeah. So that's one of two main accessories, because I believe the real reason that this guy is an exclusive is because of this, the Tommy head, which looks surprisingly very close to Jason David Frank, who, interestingly enough, I saw at Comic-Con. Oh, is he old? Not really that old, but he's definitely aged well. I'll give him that much. Anywho, so here it is. I think it looks really good for as small as this figure is. And I'll do some measurements later if I do have the measuring tape. But yeah, you can tell it's you know, good proportions, good detail. I have the Figurarts Doctor Strange and the Benedict Cumber sandwich head. Look pretty good as well, so I do like these scans of the actors. It looks good. You got his earring right there. I suppose the hair could be sculpted a little bit better, but again, considering this is a 1/12 size, it's pretty good. And if you do want to place the head on your figure, just be very gentle and, you know, pop off the head and, you know, hold there, and, you know, there's his peg. And let's go ahead and plop it on. Again, with this, you kind of want to be gentle because it is a very fragile fit. At least for me, it is. Maybe I'm just afraid to break it, but yeah, there he is, and that looks awesome. I really, really like that. I'm tempted to leave him like this, but I might do so because I plan one day on getting the rest of the Rangers, because I'm already 2 Rangers into this line. I might as well pick up the others while I'm at it, but yeah, for now I might keep him like this. He looks cool. So, and just to back up a bit, get you a better view on the proportions. It looks really good. But anywho, and he comes with a bunch of hands as well. Like I said, a hand to play the flute, which I do like. That really works well. There that is. Some more of that action there. Pretty cool. Comes with, you know, just generic holding hands. Nothing incredibly fancy. And, you know, more of the same with a fisted hand. So, not a, you know, a terrible amount of accessories, but it works. It definitely works. And I'm going to go ahead and pop off this head. Peg around. Because when I do show off the detail, the helmet, I think, is just as important. And I have yet to show that off. What's going on here? Okay. Sorry. I'm still getting used to this. Again, my first figure in the line. But let's take a look at the head sculpt for the helmet, which looks good. I like it. It definitely looks like him. Hold on. I'm trying to get it in focus. So I do like the glossy black they use for the visor, the nice metallic silver for the mouthpiece. Very nice. The green, I'd say, is pretty decently spot on. I haven't watched the TV show in a while. I feel like it's a little too dark, maybe. But don't take my word on that, especially since, trust me, I am not the best with colors. But it looks good. I'm not incredibly picky. So, it looks good. I like those, like the shark teeth around the visor. That's nice looking. Good view at the top of the head. So, you know, it looks good. It definitely looks good. And taking a look at the rest of the figure, I do like the chest plate. I really wish it was removable. I'm fairly certain they do make another Green Ranger where it does not come with the gold bits, but truthfully, I wish, you know, considering this is an exclusive, that it would have come with removable parts, considering the price was kind of insane. But anyway, it, you know, has good detail there, a nice sculpt. There it is at the back, looking good. And there's really not a whole lot to show off. I mean, you know, you have the belt there, which looks very detailed. I do like that a lot. And you have the seam going down the crotch here, and you have some bits here on the arm that I want to show off. Painted nicely, sculpted nicely. Sorry, I had a alert on my phone. But it's painted nicely. I definitely do like that. And the legs, again, there's not an incredible a lot going on here. Kind of speaks for itself. It's all just green. You do have several seams running throughout the figure, which make it a little bit more realistic. And that's kind of the one thing I like about this line so far is that, you know, in the TV show, the costumes were very ill-fitting. They were loose. They were oftentimes baggy. And yes, although the actors were in shape, they did not look buff in the costumes, which was fine. You know, that's just the Power Rangers as we know them. And that's what I like about this guy. He fits that well. Like the Legacy Collection figures, the 6-inch articulated ones, they're really cool. I love them dearly, but they are really buff. I'm not sure why, but they're still cool. I like them. So there's the figure. He's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and show off some articulation now, but you know what? Let's change some things around. Let's show him next to the SH Figurarts Red Ranger, and I think these look fantastic together. Cannot wait to do a review of him next. That'll actually be my next review. And I do have him here next to the Psycho Ranger exclusive. And if you guys hold on just a quick second, I can actually grab my Legacy Green or Black Ranger over here under a box, or on a box rather. Got him. And here he is. You know, let's move him out of the way and put him here. So you could tell, obviously, this line is very bulky. Obviously a lot taller, but it's still an amazing line. I really wish it wasn't ending, but it is. Anywho, yeah, they're not in scale, but they're obviously different lines, and honestly, this just makes me want to get the whole Ranger team. It would be so cool, but yeah. There's one more comparison I do want to make before I head into articulation, and let me grab him here. He is heavy. Oh, there he is. Let me back up here. So there is the Solvchagogan Dragonzord. Let's move you out of the way. You do not belong in this scene, sir. They look fantastic together. I mean, obviously the scale is far off. He would be the size of my house, but, or even bigger. But it works. You know, from a toy collector's perspective, this is perfect. Because if you put, like, this guy next to him, for some reason, it just doesn't work for me. The scale, they're too close to each other, but and he's really bulky, too. But him, he's skinny, he's short, it's perfect. It meets you in the middle, which I like. So, that's always cool. And I'm going to put this feller back where he belongs, right over here on the desk, and we're gonna head into some articulation. And this guy has a lot, let me tell you. I'm gonna go ahead, lift his arm up and remove this so we can just, you know, move around. And forgive me, again, I'm still very new to this SH Figurarts line. I'm not too keen on all the joints, so if I did miss something, comment down below. If I did something wrong, comment down below. I don't take these things personally. So I already showed the neck joint, as you saw when I interchanged the heads. And you got to fiddle around with it, especially when the helmeted one is on, for me at least. But he can look up fairly far on that joint, as you can see. And he actually has a separate neck joint, which can go for that much back, that much side to side, do whatever you want. And, of course, that joint at the neck, which keeps popping off for me, I noticed. Let me... Okay, that's much better now. That's a lot better. But, yeah, so clearly he has a ton of articulation at the head with two joints. The arms, so let's get into those. Check that out. I mean, you got a lot of... There's a separate piece in there that moves, so clearly you have a butterfly joint, which is fantastic, especially if you do want to do the flute action. Trust me, with the Green Ranger, that is an absolute necessity, so I'm glad they added that. And it can sink in back into the figure. Arms go forward as much as you need them to. It's obviously hindered by this, but if you angle it correctly, you can go 360, though I don't recommend that. Got a little bit of a noise there, which is fine. Go out that much, really far out. And a little bit of a upper shoulder rotation. You do have a double jointed elbow, which is awesome. The wrists are at a pretty universal joint. They are on a ratchet joint, actually, so they can do whatever you need them to do, any direction possible. And the chest, again, pretty articulated. It can go back fairly far. It's on two joints, one right here, one right here. And it can't go forward too much, but enough. And it can do everything you need it to do. The legs can go forward that much. Just be gentle. Go back that much. Don't want to force it. And he can essentially do the splits. And you can tell the legs can sink in and out, which is helpful. And a bicep rotation. A double jointed knee, a very double jointed knee, actually. And the feet can go forward that much. Back that much. An extreme ankle pivot. And the toe articulation, which is nice. So, he's filled with it. I mean, he really is filled with it. And for a Power Ranger, he better be filled with it. But regardless, if you're buying anything from the SH Figurarts line, you're going to get something pretty damn articulated. That's from my experience. Again, I'm not that big of a collector of the SH Figurarts, but I've collected enough to know that, at the least. So yeah, I didn't put the alternate hands on just because I'm sure you guys get it, you know. But I highly recommend this figure. Let's prepare him for his thumbnail right here. Ooh, so pretty. And you know what? I'm gonna put one sec. Come on. Not really good with posing, but I'm gonna just get him in a decent museum pose. It's kind of like what I want to do in my thumbnails, generally. But yeah. Alright. What did I cover? I covered articulation, I covered detail, I covered size. That's pretty much everything y'all need to know, I'm guessing. If you are able to get your hands on this figure, I highly recommend him. He's very, very cool. And if you are a Power Rangers collector, is he a necessity? Kind of. He kind of is, because the Legacy one is pretty hard to get now. Could tell you that much. So I recommend him. He's very detailed, he's very articulated, and he's a nice, fun little piece, especially if you are a 90s kid and grew up with the Power Rangers. So that is as much as I can say about that. Alright, fellas, go check out the Sanctuary on Facebook, as well as all the content creators of the Sanctuary, all of which are linked down below in the description provided. And with that said, people, if you did enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, comment, check out my site at sunspotreviewz.wordpress.com, and I will see you guys in my next video.